Alright, I'm Amy Taylor and welcome to I Prefer Cooking, the YouTube channel. So I've had to move around because I find that whenever I film against a white background I look insanely pale. I've moved and I still look insanely pale. But anywho, today we are talking all about how to keep your food lasting longer. So if you've been following my blog at all, you'll know that this month is dedicated to reducing your amount of food waste. And today I thought I'd talk to you all about your freezer and what can and cannot live in there. So there are three parts to this video. The first part is what you can and cannot freeze. So I've done a blog post on this which I'll link below, which has like a massive grid of exactly what foods can and can't be stored in the freezer and how you can store food in the freezer and all that jazz. But I thought for the video I'd just kind of walk you through a few things that you might not know you can freeze. So we'll start with eggs. Eggs can be frozen. They can be separated from the shells, cracked into a bag or muffin trays or whatever it is, and frozen as they are. Then you can use them for poached eggs or kind of baking, anything like that. You can cook them from frozen if you're using them for, say, poached eggs. If you're using them for baking, then you should probably leave them out to defrost. Next is fruit, so bananas, apples, berries, all of these can be frozen. I have a bag, which I'll show you now, which has loads of fruit in it. It's where I tend to store all of them if I buy them on Reduce to Clear or something. They last forever and you can kind of just grab handfuls out at a time for overnight oats, baking, kind of anything like that. And the last one is pasta. Now this divides opinion because some people say you can freeze it, other people say you can't. Personally, I wouldn't freeze it because I would use just less of it. So I'll pop a link to my last YouTube video that basically outlined the portion control method using your hand, and then that way you just have less left over so you won't even need to think about freezing it. So the second part of the video is how you should freeze your food. So I've got 4 key points that I'll run through with you now. So the first one is make sure that it is always sealed tightly. You want to ensure your food is protected when it's frozen, that way it doesn't get burnt or anything like that. The best way is just to kind of store it in Tupperware or wrap it up tightly in cling film. The second is to label everything clearly. If you're putting something in which isn't from the shops, make sure you just write a date on it of when you put it in the freezer and a name and defrost instructions. Thirdly, portion sizes. When it comes to leftovers, ensure that you only freeze one portion at a time. This way you won't defrost large quantities, and it's important when it comes to meat dishes, as once the meat's been defrosted it can't be refrozen. And finally, making sure you cool down your food. Don't freeze food when it's warm, as it will have an effect on the freezer and the temperature and all loads of other bits and bobs, bacteria and stuff like that. Just basically don't freeze it until it's nice and cool. And the third part is cooking from frozen. So most food is safe to be cooked from frozen. However, things like raw meat, fish, they need to be defrosted before they're cooked. Otherwise bacteria will get into them and just loads of nasties and it's not really worth it. So there you are guys, I hope that video was useful and kind of enlightened you into what can and cannot live in the freezer. Next week I'm going to be tackling the fridge, so if you liked this video and you like this type of content, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be posting one of these videos every single week.